Good evening. It's a pleasure to be in your company on this Thursday as well as the week's last edition of Prime Time News. I'm Michael Madimba. If it's your first time watching, kindly subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to receive notifications, as well as give us a like, as it helps recommend our channel to your friends and family. Traditional Authority Matters headline the bulletin. President Dr. Hage Geingob has called on traditional leaders to lead in unity and harmony, stressing that 30% of his time is spent on traditional disputes and infighting. Linia Dishena compiled our first report.
Speaking during a courtesy visit by the leader of the Ondonga Traditional Authority, Philemon Shumba Nangolo, and his delegation on Wednesday at State House, Geingob fumed that Namibia is a diverse country with different ethnic groups and traditional leaders should therefore contribute to the development of the country on unity and diversity. Geingob's call follows recent media reports that a faction of the Ovaherero Traditional Authority warned the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development that they will not accept interference in its affairs after the ministry did not recognize Mushinde Kashewa as the Ovaherero Paramount Chief while endorsing Chief Vupoira Kapuo, who is the chairperson of the Chiefs Council. We cannot deny that we are coming from different ethnic groups and we have white people here, but we are all Namibians. Currently, we are seeing a tendency of even accusing the minister. We cannot interfere with traditional leadership things. This is not our business. If there is a tradition, use the tradition to elect the person according to the traditional customs, Geingob said. Geingob further urged traditional leaders to desist from tribalism and racism, stressing that Namibia is a big country with different ethnic groups.
Now, does rape exist in a marriage setting? Well, not according to PDM lawmaker Elma Dienda, who on Tuesday stated that a husband or wife cannot rape their spouse, as rape does not exist in marriage. Let's get more on this story compiled by Lydia Pitiri.
In the absence of these things, of these Siemens, can there be a conviction? But Honorable Minister, I'm one of the person who really don't support this thing of husband and wife claiming to be raping each other. Please, people, just read your Bible. Those of us who say I do.
What means I do?
Wait. Those of us, can the ones who say I do, listen. Us who say, I'm talking about husband and wives. I'm not talking about boyfriends and girlfriends. Those of us who say I do. When you say I do, you are being told. We are being told in sickness and in what? And we are being told you cannot deny your partner his right. I'm not talking about boyfriends and girlfriends. Those who say I do. Point of order. Yes. Yes, you have the floor.
Deputy Speaker, it's very disheartening that someone in this House on an issue so important such as rape can say that you cannot deny your husband or you cannot deny your wife. Family dynamics are so... No. That is using the parliament to sanction rape. And that is making a mockery of rape victims, people that have been raped by their husbands or their wives. And that is incorrect, Deputy Speaker. We cannot do that and we cannot laugh about it. We cannot.
Staying with Parliament. PDM leader Mark Henry Venani on Wednesday echoed the opposition party's rejection of the appointment of Gerson Sindano by President Dr. Hage Geingob as a commissioner of the Electoral Commission of Namibia. Lydia Pitiri once more filed this report.
I shall want to follow on the trajectory of our very young Ina Hengari, who has shown political dexterity and leadership. Shame on you. Shame on you, ruling party, by bringing someone who works on Angolo Mbumba's office. And you want a person who works under the auspices of SWAPO, under the office and the guidance of the Secretary General of SWAPO, must come and become a commissioner to supervise and referee and be impartial on elections. I made a strong remark to the Prime Minister that it is the Prime Minister's office that is printing SWAPO Congress documents in her office. Today, the highest office in the land unashamedly comes to this house trying to get us to rubber stamp someone who is politically affiliated to the ruling party. We know the political reality why the Prime Minister wants SWAPO to run this country until Jesus comes. They want to loot this country. They want to loot this country until Jesus comes. And they are looting the central nexus and machinery where they need to loot. They can only loot from elections. They want to steal the elections of 2024, therefore bringing political appointees here.
Moving on to the Josunjupa region, where the Education Directorate on Wednesday rewarded its teachers, learners and schools that performed exceptionally well in the 2021 academic year. Mulisa Simiyasa, our reporter in that region, compiled this piece.
A total of 120 teachers, 7 learners and 12 schools in the region were rewarded for their good performance in the grade 11 ordinary level and grade 12 advanced subsidiary level. The awards were only for those who obtained A+, A, B and C symbols. The Josunjupa Regional Education Director, Josephine Mutenda, at the event held in Oshiwarongo said the Directorate this year aims to achieve a 70 to 100% pass rate in the grade 11 and 12 AS levels. She said if it requires them to conduct in-service training for their teachers facing difficulties, they will do it. Before revealing that her office has set aside 250,000 Namibian dollars for the training. About 2,048 learners were in grade 11 last year in the region, of which only 440 were enrolled in grade 12 this year. Mutenda noted that the best performers were recognized with cash prizes, medals, trophies, gifts and certificates to show their appreciation for their efforts and encourage those that did not do well to also improve this year.
Kindly stand by for your top roundup. Bilateral relations headline the Primetime B segment tonight. Minister of Industrialization and Trade, Lucia Ipumbu, has called on the newly inaugurated Namibia-Angola Joint Trade Committee to place emphasis on the creation of value chains during trade. Isabel Bento compiled this insert.
Ipumbu, who was speaking at the closing of the inaugural session of the Namibia-Angola Joint Committee on Wednesday in Swakopmund, highlighted the importance of the two countries belonging to regional, national and international trade groupings whose objectives are to enhance trade and development. She therefore called upon Angolan companies to consider investing in various sectors in Namibia with specific focus on value addition such as cosmetics, manufacturing and agriculture with specific focus on agro-processing. Ipumbu, together with her Angolan counterpart, Minister of Industry and Commerce, Victor Francisco dos Santos Fernandes, committed to inaugurate the Joint Trade Committee during Namibia's trade and investment mission to Angola earlier this year. Fernandes placed importance on the Joint Trade Committee as it gives guidance on how the two countries are going to enhance trade moving forward. The minister added that Angola is also currently in the process of becoming part of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
In European business news, The EU has warned Russia it will not bend to blackmail over its support for Kiev after the Kremlin cut off gas supplies to Bulgaria and Poland. AFP shares more insight.
The warning on Wednesday came ahead of UN Chief Antonio Guterres arriving to meet Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky following talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. Putin issued his own warning the same day, saying that if Western forces intervene in Ukraine, they will face a lightning-fast military response. The Russian leader told lawmakers, implicitly referring to Moscow's ballistic missiles and nuclear arsenal. "We have all the tools for this that no one else can boast of having. We won't boast about it, we will use them if needed, and I want everyone to know that," he said. "We have already taken all the decisions on this." The dire threats came as Moscow claimed to have carried out a missile strike in southern Ukraine to destroy a large batch of Western-supplied weapons. As the war, which has already claimed thousands of lives, entered its third month, Russian forces had made gains in the east. And in its economic standoff with the West, Moscow cut off gas supplies to Bulgaria and Poland, two EU and NATO members backing Ukraine in the conflict. However, Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, said Poland and Bulgaria are now receiving gas from their EU neighbors.
And with that, we've come to the end of the top news for this evening. Kindly stay tuned for the economics roundup followed by the weather forecast. Football dominates tonight's Sport Planet segment. Ralf Rangnick insists he wants to help Erik ten Hag change everything for the better in his consultancy role at Manchester United. The interim boss said, "So far we haven't been able to speak with each other and we've had no contact. He has his focus on Ajax. I have my focus on Manchester United here. But obviously, I'm more than willing and prepared to help both Erik and whomever in the club in order to change everything for the better." Rangnick is in the final weeks of his spell as United interim manager before he passes the reins to Ajax boss Ten Hag in time for next season. The German has written off 6th place United's hopes of qualifying for next season's Champions League via top 4 finish in the Premier League. On to a club that is experiencing contrasting fortunes from United. Liverpool are currently enjoying a rich vein of form and look to step up negotiations on a new contract to keep manager Jurgen Klopp at Anfield beyond 2024. The PA news agency understands a new deal has been pushed up the agenda after Mike Gordon, president of owners Fenway Sports Group, flew in for the Champions League first leg win over Villarreal, which has put them within touching distance of a third final in 5 seasons. It is believed the club have been encouraged by positive noises coming from Klopp's camp, and his agent, Mark Kosker, was in the director's box, seated not that far away from Gordon, to watch the 2-0 win over their Spanish visitors. Kindly stand by for your sports roundup. With the Sport Planet segment, we've come to the end of Thursday's edition of Primetime News. Many thanks for joining us. As we commemorate Workers' Day globally on Sunday, the 1st of May, we salute the global workforce for its contribution to the well-being of society. To the Namibian labor force, be proud of what you do and always remember, your tireless contributions aren't in vain. Happy International Labour's Day in advance. Catch us on Tuesday next week as we bring you the latest happenings from around and beyond Namibia. From myself, Michael Madimba, and the entire cast and crew, it's good night.